Roll it.
Oh yeah, 3 pre-rolls today, starting with our new sponsor, Babbel. Travel plans this summer? Learn to speak like a local with Babbel. With Babbel, you can start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. Get started right now with 55% off your Babbel subscription for our listeners. Go to babbel.com/JRVP. That's 55% off at babbel.com/JRVP, spelled BABBEL.com/JRVP. Rules and restrictions may apply. You should never have to compromise on comfort. Helix has mattresses with cooling technology that helps regulate your body temperature, whatever the season. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. This is their best offer yet, and it will not last long with Helix. Better sleep starts now. And then finally, it's Tushy. Tushy's back. And I don't have the link up right now, so I'm struggling. Tushy, go to hellotushy.com/JRVP. Use the promo code JRVP to get 10% off plus free shipping on your first bidet order. That's hellotushy.com/JRVP for 10% off. 3 pre-rolls, nothing compared to the forklift stealing, Bill Burr seeing, pig semen creating beauty of episode 211 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
I be Shit. I be Michael Phelps, all the brand deals that I'm swimming in.
Some hiccups, starting out our last road show there, but you brought the feeling with that read, Anthony.
I messed up big time. I was excited.
You want to do it again?
I be Michael Phelps, all the brand deals that I'm swimming in. I'm bad. I don't have good flow. I'm going to admit this now. I'm 44. I can admit it. My flow is not great. Someone had written in to the podcast, to JRVP, Junior Vice President at gmail.com, and said, hey, I loved when you were talking about, was it Flo Millie?
Yeah.
Feeling myself unconceited. She's like, I love that. You should check out Flyana Boss, Flyana Boss, the song You Wish. And I did check it out. And I've been listening to it on repeat for 24 hours. And I be Michael Phelps, all the brand deals that I'm swimming in. Made me laugh. Also, got your windows fogged up because I'm hot like Nelly. I know what you want, so get in my... Aaron?
Belly.
That's right. Thank you, DJ Aaron. So yeah, thank you. And I'm down for people sending in songs I think will like. Do that. Send me recommendations.
You really learned Flo Millie from me. I don't know if you remember that. I'm the true Flo Millie fan here.
I thought it was just came up on a playlist or something. But if you want to take credit for Flo Millie, that's fine. But Flyana Boss, I'm giving credit to whoever sent that in. Thank you. How was we took it last week off? We had a podcast, but we didn't record anything. We did 2 the week before. How was your 4th of July in Japan?
I'm still here. I feel like I've been here a long time. It's been 3 weeks now. I'll be coming back home this weekend. But it was great. It's 4th of July. I mean, we're like the loud Americans here. I definitely noticed that here and there. You
texted me that you saw Kanye and his wife walking around like.
I did, right near Emika's, just walking on the street. We were walking to the subway from Emika's parents' house, and yeah, him and his fetching girlfriend just walked by. No one bothering them at all. Looked very happy. He was wearing his shoulder pads. I didn't bother him. Like, what would have been a funny thing for me to say to him?
Be like, hey, yay! I'm also on Team Jeselnik. You know, what I mean, I'm ground floor on Jeselco. You know, and then he would have taken you out to dinner. I think that's how he would have given you clothes. You'd be dressed like Kanye right now, and you'd be happier. Or just like, I think he would think was cool is if you just like pointed at him and went, Jesus walks. And then just like followed him around doing that over and over again. That would be funny. Or just like flashing lights. Like I think he would like. He seems like he'd be cool with that sort of thing.
He seemed, very happy. It's amazing how quickly you would just throw out all the, at least me personally, would throw out all the anti-Semitic stuff and the Trump stuff. Just like I was just happy to see him. I would have just melted right in front of him. But it all happened fast. I was happy Emeka noticed him too, because she always misses it when celebrities walk by. But as she pointed out, it's kind of hard to miss Kanye in Japan.
Yep.
Not a lot of non-Japanese. So she says, when it's a Westerner, she kind of notices, and he was very Kanye.
And were people leaving him alone? Because I know, like, the area what I'm assuming that you saw him in, which is near your in-laws' place, it's fucking really nice. It seems like a normal street, but then it's like is it Chanel, or it's like one of those like Gucci or one of those crazy high-end stores?
There's some high-end designer shopping, which is probably why he was on the street right nearby, on the way to the subway. And yes, so he was probably stopping at the Prada building.
And you think Kanye was taking the subway?
No, I'm just saying that's why we were on that street. Like, Emeka's a little off that, but pretty much on the way from her house to the subway is all those fancy designer stores. And like I said, I do feel like we went into this nice restaurant, but it's like run by Lexus for some reason. But it's also a museum. This is the type of stuff they have here. And like when I go out,
all the food tastes like shit. There's fucking tire marks
amazing.
on this. Like it's just a car in the back, just doing donuts. It smells like burnt rubber. What the fuck, Lexus? This is bad.
The thing is, it's amazing. I've always wanted to go there because I've walked by there for years and years. And this year they had this shaved ice, cotton candy dessert thing that I was like, I've been wanting to go there forever. Let's go. The kids I knew wanted to go. And it's Japan, so everything tastes good everywhere you go. But when I'm in places like this, I have been feeling more and more like we are the loud Americans, me and my kids, and that's fine,
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, wherever you and your children go, you're just screaming, throwing shit around, getting wasted.
I mean, we're pretty well behaved compared to Americans, but one thing I've gotten used to after 3 weeks, like, shit's just quieter here. It's just quieter. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nice, but it sounds quieter.
Great. It sounds great. People just, in Japan, it's culturally it's different, in that people just want to just have a little peace and just kind of zone in and take a few minutes to themselves of like personal, natural silence before they jump in front of the bullet train. We're in America, everyone's kind of like, it's like, what are we doing next? Where are we going? In Japan, it's like, hey, just appreciate this moment before you throw yourself in front of the bullet train.
Or you walk into the suicide forest.
It's nice. Yeah. I mean, that's. I think the suicide forest is you got to go through there to get to the train. They don't make it easy.
We were taking the Shinkansen, that's the bullet train, back to Tokyo yesterday, and no matter how many times you see it, when you're in the station, a lot of times just the bullet trains just go by, but they don't stop, so they're going full bullet, and no matter how many times you see it, it still sort of knocks you out because it's going so fast. You think how much your body would explode if it hit it. And you do notice there are signs all over the bullet train, like, be prepared. There are sometimes sudden stops, and you think about why that would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sign up for throwing yourself in front of us between noon and 5. It's fucked up. I'm against it. But I do like the bullet trains. They're cool. Could check out Bullet Train the movie on Netflix. I went to Atlantic City and Charlestown, West Virginia this past weekend. Atlantic City was great. Always enjoy the Borgata. They always treat me great. And it was the Borgata's 20th anniversary this year too, so we got to do a double celebration. I enjoy like having a career that's so long now that when I go to places, they're like, "Welcome back, Anthony. Good to see you again. How's it going?" I enjoy working on reputation a little bit. So Borgata shows were fun, and then I had a great fan interaction. I want to shout out the next day in the Borgata. Like I get to the Borgata, I get late the night before, do the shows the next day, and then the next morning I get up, I go to the gym, and then I shower, and then I take the car to West Virginia. And as I'm going to the gym in the morning, a guy stops me. Like I walk out of like the kind of the secure area to get to the gym, and as soon as I walk out, a guy stops. I don't know if he was waiting for me, but I hear like Anthony, and I turn around. And it's this guy. I'd say he's like, I don't know, late 40s, early 50s, and he's very excited to see me, and he's doing this the right way. He's giving me a little space. He's being respectful. He's not trying to hug me. He's not wasting. He's just like, Anthony, I just want to tell you, I don't want to bother you. I just want to say I'm a huge fan. Loved the show last night. I just want to know, like, when are you going to be on another podcast? Do you know when you're going to, like, he wants to ask a question. He's a big fan. He loves me on podcasts. He goes, when are you going to be on another podcast? And I look at him and I go, you know, I have a podcast. And he did not know I have a podcast. This guy was the biggest fan I've ever had who just didn't know. And the look on his face was like, oh my God, I'm fucking this up so bad. I can't believe I didn't know he had a podcast. This guy's now probably at episode 150 now. He probably left that and just started listening. And I'm sure he's listening to this. Thank you for making me laugh so hard. He was very nice, very sweet. Enjoy 211 episodes of this bullshit that you are now wrapped up in. I'll see you next time.
He must not follow you on social media, or maybe you're just not promoting the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP. Junior Vice President.
Well, I'm promoting it way more than I should be. And then I went to Charlestown, and I love West Virginia. What I forgot about West Virginia, I haven't been in so long. I don't know if I've ever done a show in West Virginia, but I forgot that in West Virginia, it's the only place in the world where people are impressed that you're from Pittsburgh. And when I talk to them, like, hey, Anthony, welcome to Charlestown, the casino. Are you from Pittsburgh? Yeah, I'm from. Oh, wow, that's great. I'm like, no one says this. No one ever acts like it's cool, unless you're from West Virginia. They were all like, wow, all right, Pittsburgh, way to go, man. I loved it. More shows announced today on social media. I've got second shows added in a couple cities. Cleveland, we're adding a second show, a bunch of other places I've forgotten. And then fourth shows. Fourth show in Denver, fourth show in San Diego. I can't even believe it. And then we announced finally November 10th, I believe, Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall, 7 p.m. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a really fun one. I'm going to try not to go too long because it's Tim Dillon at 9:45. So I'm not going to bleed into that. But I'm looking forward to Carnegie Hall. Come for the show. Stay to meet my parents.
Wait, what day of the week is that? I want to try to go to that.
It's Friday.
Dude, that gives me a chance.
You should.
Not that you're worried about that, but
I would love it. There's going to be a bunch of people there. It's going to be really fun. I'm putting the show together now, and hopefully I'll have some special guests. We will see what happens, and then I was excited to talk about Mission Impossible. I got tickets to see Mission Impossible tonight. It's the first night you can see it. I got tickets in IMAX. I got good seats. 10 p.m. show. I was going to go with my new friend Harlan Williams. I always like Harlan Williams. We did a podcast together. We bonded a little bit, and he was like, hey, I always love seeing movies. If you ever want to see a movie, text me. Texted him a couple days ago. Harlan, Mission Impossible, 10 p.m. IMAX. Are you in? I'm buying tickets. He was like, yes, that's awesome. Buy tickets. Text him today and say, hey, you want to meet at my place and walk over? You want to meet at the theater? I get a voice message. I get one of those voice texts, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Harlan's fucking blowing it. And he leaves me a voice message being like, hey, buddy, I'm so sorry. I'm really sick. I gotta do my podcast and then lie down. I won't be able to make it. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to go see the movie tonight. I'm never going to see Mission Impossible. I'm going to walk into the sequel not knowing what happened in the first one because of Harlan. I don't have any other friends that I can take to go see Mission Impossible. Neither one of you guys would go with me.
I can't tonight, but I would have.
Bill Burr's already seen it.
Yeah.
I talked to Bill Burr. Right. I didn't tell you about this, Greg. I got a fight with Billy today. I pulled into the parking lot 20 minutes ago. There's no spot for me. There's no spot. And in the All Things Comedy parking lot, we all chat. Everyone who has a podcast here has their own spot. I've got my spot. Billy's got his spots. Greg's got his spot. Aaron's got his spot.
The Sklar brothers only have one spot.
They only have one spot, but it's a long one, so they can tandem park.
Yeah.
Like in between each other. Steph Tolev,
yep,
has a spot.
Yep.
Who else, Aaron? Quick with it.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Tom Papa?
Tom Papa's got a spot.
Sure.
But so Billy comes in here. Billy's got a motorcycle with, you know how they have the carriage on the side that you can put someone can sit next to it. You know what I'm talking
Right,
about,
the
Greg?
cool motorcycles, right? Yeah.
Bill's got one with the one on each side. So, and there's never anyone in it. He's just riding around with an extra wide motorcycle, and so he takes up 3 spots. He's taken up my spot, he's taken up his own spot, and then he's taken up Tom Papa's spot. And so Tom Papa's just standing there in the parking lot, wondering what the fuck he's supposed to do. And I'm walking out like, what am I supposed to do? Billy? I said that to him. I said, Billy, what are we supposed to do? And Billy puts his sunglasses down a little bit and goes, figure it out. And then puts them back and then walks away. Doesn't walk into All Things Comedy, just walks off down the street. He's parking here to go do something else. I don't know how it's allowed. I don't know how he gets away with it. But it's his company. I'm just a piece of shit coming here podcasting for ad money. Okay? I drive a regular car without extra things on the sides. Like a fucking loser. Am I right, Aaron?
That's right. You only have one car with no things on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else,
I mean,
Greg?
you can't even get Harlan Williams to go with you to a movie.
I can't even get him to go. I bet he's going to anyway. I bet he'll be there. I want to go and sit outside the theater and see if he shows up with someone else. I'm mad about it. And I couldn't invite other people, but it's like, who do I want to go see Mission Impossible with? Aaron, who's the perfect person to see Mission Impossible with?
Harlan Williams.
Harlan fucking Williams. Yeah. Harlan fucking Williams. Is he going to make a joke during the trailers for other movies? You bet your ass he is.
It's going to be the best.
It's going to be the best.
Yeah.
Is he going to give you a little elbow when it looks like Tom Cruise might die in the movie and be like, oh, I got a bad feeling about this? You know that he is.
Yeah. You want that elbow.
When Tom Cruise talks about seeing it in the theater, that you don't want to watch it at home, you don't want to watch a movie on your phone, what he means is you want to see it in a theater next to Harlan Williams. Harlan Williams behind you at worst. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Otherwise, you might as well just have someone who read the script describe the movie to you.
Yeah.
For all the good it does. Harlan! Harlan! Where's Harlan Williams' podcast? Is it All Things Comedy?
It used to be. It is no. I believe he's independent.
That's right. As of about an hour ago, when he couldn't get the fucking Stones together to show up for our date.
Well, he is sick. I mean, he's not too sick to not do.
You think I'm not
but
sick?
He's too sick.
You think I'm not sick right now? I am so sick. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have left the house today. Do you know how many people I've gotten sick from point A to point B? All of them. And all right. I guess I'm not big enough for Harlan to take the chance. Maybe I go by myself. Maybe I go by myself and weep. I put like a coat next to me, and when someone's like, "Can I sit there?" No, that's Harlan's seat.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll hear about this from like our podcast listeners, because he didn't know who he's fucking with.
No, he'll find out. He'll find out. He was like, maybe. Oh, he's like, I'll make it up to you. I'll buy the next ones. I might make him. We might have to do a Barbie Oppenheimer doubleheader, like a lot of people are going to do. That with Harlan would be fun. Would be fun.
Yeah.
Do now, okay, Aaron, you're going to see Barbie and Oppenheimer back to back. What do you see first?
Oppenheimer.
Really?
100%.
Okay. Okay.
It's heavier. It's a bit of a downer.
I got to think after Oppenheimer, you don't want to watch a movie. I got to think after Oppenheimer, you want to walk around in the sun and chill out.
To me, that's what Barbie is. A walk in the sun.
Barbie is like, you know how before you go on a date, Aaron, you rub one out?
Yeah. Get out. Clear the chamber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Or like a podcast, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's what's up with me and Harlan Williams. I know everyone was wondering. That's what's going on. So, big prayers up for Harlan. I hope he recovers in about 25 minutes, because we're going to that fucking movie, Harlan. All right. Anything else, Greg? Before we move on.
It's hard to follow. I would do the double bill with you, by the way, because I'm about to be home in LA. No family with me for about 3 more weeks. They're staying here.
Oh, perfect. I was going to say bring the kids, bring Emeka. The kids, Walker would love Oppenheimer. From what I'm hearing, bring the kids to Oppenheimer. Let them know how good they have it now. No, we'll
He's
do
a
that.
big Florence Pugh fan.
I will go with you. We'll do a Barbie Oppenheimer double feature. We'll bring Liz.
I did have something actually that made me think of you here before we go on. I mean, we've been having fun. We saw some Murder Ball, which is like the wheelchair rugby Asian finals. That was fun.
That's awesome.
A lot of baseball. I've been going to a lot of baseball games. I'm going the next 2 nights. I'm going 3 nights in a row. We're going crazy. But we were down in Onsen this last weekend with the hot springs again. We went one last night for a nice little capper before I'm heading back. And when you're there, you got to wash before you go into the bath. And I go with Walker some of the times. A lot of times he just stays up in the room. But I went with him, and I was helping him wash, before he went into the bath. And then out of nowhere, in this onsen, we're naked, obviously, and there's Japanese men around and whatever, but not that close. Out of nowhere, in his best Jeselnik voice, with no preamble, no context, he just goes, "You gotta sweep before you mop." And I was like, it was so random. It was so out of nowhere, but he loves the JRVP song that's on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the clips for it. And I don't know why he thought of it in that moment, but when he says it, he sort of does it with an Anthony voice because it's your voice on that clip. And I thought, like, if I've done nothing else, if this podcast has done nothing else, like, it gave me that moment. Here is that phrase 20 something years later in Japan, my son saying it to me. It was beautiful.
It must have been nice, because I mean, you're 44 years old like me. Like, what is it like to have when your son is born and you hold him for the first time, you're like, oh my God. But then a few years later, when your son is quoting me, buck naked in a room full of men, and does my voice, it must be like when the Grinch gets it together, where it just grows, and you're like, I love you so much more now. I wish I didn't have a daughter, so I could just commit everything to this one. Is that what it's like?
It was a feeling of pride I had never felt before. Yeah.
Aaron, what would you do if your daughter just opened up her mouth and my voice came out and it said, "You got to sweep before you mop"?
I mean, I'd be one proud papa.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
That's why you have the kid, in the hopes that it all works out. That you got 10 fingers, 10 toes, and it sounds just like me. That's great. And now you know what? I went to a baseball game. I'm forgetting everything because it's been 2 weeks. I took Liz to a Pirates game, watched the Dodgers beat the Pirates. It was a great game. Beautiful day. We had front row seats. It was really fun. I'm right behind the Pirates dugout. And normally I do not like getting recognized. I would prefer not to be. You know what I mean? I wear the hat. I wear some glasses. I'm not I'm a little more low key. When I'm sitting right behind the Pirates dugout, I'm staring at Andrew McCutchen for 3 hours. Being turn around, fucking turn around, fucking look at me, fucking recognize me. Players are walking back off the field. I'm just staring at them come on. You haven't seen a roast? You don't fucking, come on. And
you're too young now.
Happen. Yeah, didn't happen.
Might be.
I had heard, someone had told me, they were like, yeah, I was out with some Pirates. They were all asking me about you. They were like, oh, you're a comedian. Do you know Anthony Jeselnik? And I was like, oh, maybe but it didn't happen. But it was a fun game. I loved it. Even though the Pirates lost, it was still enjoyable. I got to watch McCutchen. McCutchen didn't even play, but I got to see him standing there talking to people the whole time, and I was like, this is still great. I loved it. Then the 4th of July, I just I hung out and held my dog during the fireworks. He was really bad this year, but the fireworks weren't that bad. The other days, they kind of laid off. It was just that one 4th of July, but it was rough. It was not a good one. I don't like fireworks. I love my dog. And now it's time for, Did We Get Any Notes? Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Oh, you bet your sweet ass we did. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. But first, I want to get into gifts. A new friend of mine that I met in Tunica at the beginning of this bigger tour after the clubs. My friend John, who has beautiful handwriting. Hey, he ran into me right after my show and told me that he had made a sign. Showed me a picture. Was worried I wouldn't get it. John, I got it. John, I got the let me see, Rummy's Room sign with a little bones and all added. Very nice. I love the red. I love everything about it. There's a little paper on there from the shipping, but I'm going to take it off. Don't worry about it. Thank you, John. John, the beautiful letter. I'm going to frame the letter. Look at this. Look at this calligraphy. Look at that. It looks like. Am I reading the Constitution? Did he declare his independence, or is he saying hello? Great job, John.
This is an invitation, really, to check out the show on YouTube, so you can see that writing. But what are you going to do with all these signs? You have more signs than you have Rummy's rooms.
That's true. But Rummy's room has got different walls. Trust me, I've got all these signs. I got 3, and now I've got 4, because my boy Russ gave me a sign, Rummy's room, and his deal is he doesn't burn it with like a torch. He burns it with a magnifying glass. So it's really cool. This is dope. I've got 4 very different but very similar, beautiful signs that we are going to figure out what to do. We're going to use them all. Trust me. Rummy's got vacation homes. We're going to have Rummy's rooms all around. Thank you. And then one last gift we got, and then they sent some for Billy. Burry. You know, I'm going to start calling him Burry, because we're fucking real tight, Aaron. Yeah. Email him and ask him if that's cool.
I'll get him on the blower.
Yeah, let him. Yeah, call him up. Hey, Bill, sorry to bother you. Julie Dodge sent us, Greg, there's something for you. It's a letter opener that says emails are a thing. It's got a magnet, and you can open letters. And every time you open a letter, you can remember that emails are a thing. And she sent one for us to give to Billy. We're going to give that to Billy once he gets his shit together. Once he comes back here and gets his motorcycle and 2 carriages out of my parking spots. Because Tom Papa's mad. I'm okay with it. Like, Aaron, you know me. I'm cool. I'm chill. Tom Papa is tearing shit up in there.
Full rage, yeah.
Full rage.
He's still there right now. He's just standing in the parking spot wondering what to do.
Mm-hmm. He's just holding a bat. Just getting ready. Other notes. Listen, in last week's podcast, I see some things online. I mentioned I talked about going out with a comedy critic and talking about comedy and discussing a comic who I believe is getting all this hype, has been getting all this hype, and is garbage. And everyone had their guesses. And normally I would just leave it alone. I'd be like, whatever. But everyone was so wrong. The big guess everyone had, because I said the Emperor has no clothes, everyone thought I meant Bert Kreischer. And I was trashing Bert Kreischer. I like Bert Kreischer. I'm not friends with him. We've talked a few times. Every time I see him, I like him. And I don't have a problem with what Bert does. I don't it's not my thing. I'm not upset about it. He's an entertainer. People enjoy it. People have fun. He's a good guy, I feel like. He doesn't cheat on his wife. He's just a good dude. There's so many bad people out there. People getting mad at Bert because he's so successful. That's jealousy. That's not my thing. It's not Bert Kreischer. It's not Theo Von. I like Theo Von. I don't watch much of his shit, but every time I see Theo, I talk to him. It's not Andrew Schultz. I like Andrew. When I see Andrew Schultz, I've seen him a couple times. I talk to him. Andrew's a smart guy. I ask business questions. I'm like, how does this work, Andrew? When you do this, how does this work? Do I watch Andrew Schultz's Twitch stream? Fuck no. Do I watch the stupid fucking podcast? I do not. But I like him. He's at work doing that shit. That's fine. I like Andrew Schultz. Is it Tim Dillon? No. Do I like Tim Dillon? Not particularly. I don't give a fuck if Tim Dillon lives or dies. We've never really talked. I don't like him, but I don't have a reason why. If we had one conversation, maybe we'd be friends. Who knows? I'm not in the market for new friends. It's someone else who maybe one person I think in the threads I looked at guessed, but I'm never going to say that name because it does not behoove me. But yeah, it's none of those other people. I'm fine with all those people. I like those guys. They're cool. And that was, did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
Tim Dillon, Mission Impossible, 10 p.m. Man's Chinese, you be there. We'll go see a movie.
You kind of are in the market for new friends because Harlan isn't really stepping up.
No. But you can't replace Harlan Williams. What am I going to get? Fucking Jim Brewer in here on last second? No. And now it's time to take it down to a little place that's always in the market for new friends. It's Email Corner.
Email Corner. Emails are a thing. Email Corner. Email. It's Email Corner.
Guys, don't make me pull out the fucking letter opener. Emails are a thing. It's documented. We like to get emails. We got a bunch this week. I narrowed it down to 3. I went through them. Greg's going to start doing that when he gets back from Japan. But for now, I'm on the stick. And I got 3 emails for us. I think they're good. Keep sending them. JRVP Junior Vice President at gmail.com. Greg, read them to me. You know I can't.
All right, our first one is from Boise, Idaho.
Fuck yeah.
From Samson. He says, I'm a father of 2 and very happily married. I hate dogs and cats, and basically just pets in general. I used to say I don't hate them. That's just not my cup of tea. But being honest, I can't fucking stand them. Anytime it comes up with work or anyone other than my wife, I get the typical, that's insane, you must be a serial killer line. Disclaimer, I am not a serial killer. I just can't stand the smell of pets. I can't stand lint or having hair in my clothes and furniture. I can't imagine getting up in the middle of the night to clean up diarrhea like Anthony used to have to do. I'm the parent who gets up at night to feed my daughter, and it was mostly the same when my son was that age. I have no problem with that because they are children, but a dog, absolutely not. I come to you, Anthony, Greg, and Aaron, asking for your thoughts. Am I insane?
No. I don't think you're insane at all. I think if you like go find animals and you're hurting them and doing shit to them, that's insane. That's crazy town. I don't think you're insane for not liking cats and dogs. You got your reasons. I don't like the hair. I don't like the smell. I think maybe if you had an animal, the way you like have a kid, because you're not like, oh, it's a kid, so I'm happy cleaning up shit. It's your kid. You don't want, if some random kid walked into your house and started shitting everywhere, you wouldn't be thrilled about it, would you, Aaron?
No, sir.
That's right. So maybe if you had your own dog or cat, it would be different. I don't want to pick up random dog shit, but I'll pick up my dog shit. There's something that happens to you when you have a dog that you're like, oh, this is my shit that I'm picking up. You have no problem with it. It's not gross at all. It doesn't matter. But I think it's totally fine to be like, I don't like it. Like the way I'm with kids. I don't like kids. I mean, I can talk to kids. I like my godkids. I like my nieces and nephews. But other kids, like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll be nice, but I'm not like, ooh, kids, ooh, can I hold them? Oh, is that a baby? Can I press on the spot in its head? I don't say that because I'm not a fucking weirdo. But I'm fine with it. That I think if you tell people, you're always going to sound weird. You're always going to sound crazy. So just be like, I'm not a dog guy. So, and you got to have a thing that you're into though, because if you're like, I don't like dogs, I'm more of a cat person. People are like, okay. They're like, dogs and cats aren't my thing. I'm a squirrel guy. Maybe they'll let you go. Maybe like I got a lizard, I got a snake. Maybe they're into that. But maybe tell a story. When I was a kid, a dog bit me, and I've always been. Then people leave you alone.
Why should you have to make up a lie though? I like this. I like this for representation of people that are not into pets. I like pets. I had cats growing up, but I think I'm a little mixed on them. I don't always love them. I think humans are a little, they get a little too much with the animal. I mean, animals aren't really intended to be pets. It's more for the humans.
That's not true.
For most animals.
There are pets.
You disagree?
I think there's some dogs that have been bred to be pets. There's some cats that have been bred to be pets.
I think dogs especially are almost perfect pets. But animals weren't like brought into the universe for us to just treat them like little humans.
Hold on, Aaron, would you check on that? Is that true?
I don't know. I feel like they came to be.
You don't have people who are into all animals. It's like, oh my god, a dog. Oh my god, like fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. You get 5. You get 5 animals, and you can be all about those things, and then leave the rest alone. So you just
See, I feel like I'm into animals, but I'm not as into pets. Although I'd love to have cats right now.
I forgot the story. I took Rummy to the coffee shop yesterday. I'm with Liz. We're walking Rummy. Or maybe it's a Sunday. We're walking Rummy, and I've just flown back from Dulles. I'm exhausted. It's like noon. I'm walking, and I'm like, Liz, you go get the coffees, and I'll stay out here with Rummy. We're like sitting on this porch, and there's an Asian family there. And they don't speak English. I don't know, they're tourists from somewhere. Like an older mom, older dad. You know when like old Asian people look like they're always smoking? You know what I mean? They just have that look of like, they wear like the kind of the thick glasses, and they just look like they're always smoking cigarettes. It was like these kind of old Asian people. And they had a very young son. And they don't speak, they're just talking to each other. And then the kid sees me with my dog, and the kid walks over to Rummy and sits down kind of near him and staring at Rummy. And I go, oh, you probably don't pet him. He's unpredictable. It's like what I say. And the kid reaches his hand out and starts petting Rummy. And I'm like, okay, like, all right. And I'm kind of petting Rummy too, so Rummy will be cool. And I hear like Rummy's giving warning this kid. And I'm like, oh no, like you can't, like no. And the kid just like looks at his mom. The mom starts talking to him very calmly, and the kid just holds his hand out in front of Rummy's mouth. And I'm sitting there, and a part of me thinks like, well, I did my best. and I'm about to watch Rummy bite this kid, and it's not my fault. I'm thinking like after Rummy bites him, I'm going to explain how this is not my fault, and then I realized, no, I'm 44 years old. I need to do something. So I got up and took Rummy and just walked away from them and brought him into the coffee shop and away from the kid. But I was fully prepared for 30 seconds to watch my dog just maul a kid. I warned him. I warned him in my language.
Wait, did he not understand English? Was that part of
I
the
assume he didn't.
issue?
He didn't acknowledge. He had just acted like I didn't say anything and I wasn't there. The mom didn't seem concerned. Maybe I don't know what country they were from, but maybe there it's like having a dog bite you is an honor. That's all I could think, because they seem very unconcerned.
It annoys me though, dog owners, like if you don't just profess your love for all things dog, they get a little offended. Like I like dogs and cats. I had both growing up, but I guess I'm more of a cat guy at heart, and they just think cat people are assholes.
I like dogs less than I did before I got Rummy. I always liked them, but now I have my dog. That I see another dog, I'm like, I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to stay loyal to my dog. All right, I got 5-6 signs for my dog's room. I don't have time to talk to other dogs. Like,
this is
leave dogs alone.
A quick side note to that, but on the subject of Asian smoking, on that trip back yesterday, that was the exact moment that Walker peeked his head into the room. We're going back on the Shinkansen. It's about 95 degrees here right now. It's outrageously hot. We're going back on the Shinkansen. That's air conditioned. But while you're outside waiting for the train to come, it's not air conditioned. They have a smoking room on the platform. The room is fully encased in glass. It is 95 degrees outside. There's no way that thing is air conditioned. And there are probably 60 Japanese men in a small room, all smoking their brains out at 3 p.m. They are committed. They are committed.
They're just getting ready. They're just getting ready to jump in front of the train. It's prep.
I was just like, I don't think there's that level of commitment for smokers in the U.S. at this point. But it was packed in there. They did not give a fuck that it was 100 degrees and that there was 70 other people in there with them.
Sounds fun.
All right. Our next question is from Alexander. This is a long one. He lives in Stamford. I'm going to try to make this a little quicker. It's got some recommendations for Stamford. That's
where I went to
He
visit.
saw Billy Burr
yeah,
in Bridgeport.
I went with Liz to Stamford. He was saying great things.
Yeah. He went to see Billy Burr in Bridgeport. It was the worst show he's ever been to, but it was not Billy's fault. It was in the Total Mortgage Arena, and he was towards the back. There was a guy sitting next to me who kept starting a side conversation, and another guy 2 rows down who kept shouting at the top of his lungs, "Bill effing Burr, baby," after every joke. And it was he didn't censor himself, but I think Walker's still looking in. Then he would inexplicably yell "ruler" at the top of his lungs. It made me think, is there an element of control you lose when doing larger arenas as a comedian? Does it bother you, or do you not even notice? What's the weirdest thing someone's ever yelled at you during the show? He's going to see you in Foxwoods. Can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger the venue gets, the less control you have, for sure. You know what I mean? If you're in a room of like a 250 seat comedy club and someone heckles, like, you have to go and deal with that. Like the room is, you're dealing with the entire room. When you get into like a 2,000 seat theater, you know, the kind of places I'm playing now, 2,500 seats, you have way less control. And you can't hear as well. It's like someone's in the back screaming something, I don't know. Like when I take questions, it's like someone will yell something, I have to ask them 3 times because it's just so far away. And if someone's like, maybe the audience can't hear. So like a guy yelling like Billy fucking Burr after every joke, like Bill can't hear that. Only the people around him. So Bill's like, I'm not going to stop the entire show and address this one thing over there. So you really have to just kind of let it go. Like you really do become more of like an act than like a very present thing when you're doing a giant show like that. Like doing Oddball, you know, 10,000, 20,000 people. You can't control anything. You can only control what's coming out of your mouth. So it really is just like a performance that I understand the frustration. I think if you were closer, people would have been a little more together. Being in the back in a giant room like that, that's just, it's like the back of the class. The back of the classroom, all the fuck ups sit back there. They're all drunk and they can't hear anyway, so they're just yelling and talking. You got to get closer in an arena. But the best place to see anyone, I think, is a smaller venue, a smaller club where you can be intimate and be up close, and they can really kind of control things. The weirdest thing, someone's yelled at me. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing is someone yelling like something I can't understand or hear. It's like some little joke they have. Sometimes it's like like something I can't understand for 10 minutes, and then I'm like, what? And they're like, shark
like ruler.
Shark party. I'm like, oh, you've been yelling shark party, but in like, you're so drunk, I don't understand that it's tough. It's tough in a room that big. But I was taking questions at the Borgata, and some girl goes like, where have you been? You just disappeared. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, you used to, I love you, but you just like disappeared. You haven't done anything. Where'd you go? And I'm like, you mean since like 2019 when I had a special on a TV show? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's like not being on television for 3 years while you're touring around the country is disappearing. So people just yell confusing things sometimes. But yeah, if you're in a giant venue like that, there's nothing the comic can do. They can't stop the show to address one little thing, and that's just what you're going to get. So get better seats.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a big enough fan of any comedian where you'd want to be at the back of an arena. It doesn't sound fun. Did you have that woman removed, by the way?
Oh yeah, I had her big shit kicked out of her. What you want to do if you're at a Bill Burr show and you want to connect with Bill, scream out like, Billy, tell us about motorcycles, and he'll go off. He'll go off forever about motorcycles. He loves them.
All right, let's get to our last email because I want to leave some time for this one. It's a longtime listener, big fan of all things Rummy and JRVP. Would love to hear your thoughts on Colleen Bollinger's YouTube apology. What instrument would you and Greg choose if you had to make a public apology statement?
Okay, so let's explain this for everyone. Like I saw a news thing a couple weeks ago, and it's like Colleen Bollinger like plays ukulele, like a 10-minute ukulele song apologizing for grooming like children. And I was like, I don't know who this is. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. I kind of ignore it. And then I somehow hear that Colleen Bollinger is Miranda Sings. And I'm like, that sounds familiar. And I look up Miranda Sings, and it's that fucking girl with like the too much lipstick kind of thing. She was the one, I remember her like annoying YouTube videos that was like, I was too old to watch them. But then I remember her because she was the highest rated, the most watched episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld by a million miles. There like is no second place. And I swear to God, if you go look it up right now on YouTube, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, if it's still on YouTube, it might be just on Netflix now, but her episode was like hundreds of millions. And the next one would be like Bill Burr, it'd be like 25 people. Like no one gave a shit. But because she had those like that fan base, we were like, oh, she got like a Netflix show. It went away. She seemed really annoying. And I assumed she was just retired. But apparently she was like flirting with the young kids who were fans with her, making her do work for them, sending them lingerie, which is very funny. And then sang a 10-minute song that she had like worked on. Even though her lawyers told her not to, she thought it would be cute to, instead of not saying anything, she would sing. And it is everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm such a professional. I was not aware of Colleen or Miranda Sings. You're right. The face, like her Twitter, like AVI looked familiar to me, like her face did, because I just had seen her jokes retweeted, I think, on Twitter. But I was not familiar with her, which does age us, I guess. I don't know much about YouTube, but I went deep into this yesterday. I put in the hard work. I listened to all 10 minutes in Japan. It's even better in Japan. And this apology is the most manipulative thing I've ever seen. So it pretty much was proving exactly what her detractors were trying to say about her, that she was like somehow manipulating all of her audience. And I do have a clip. Let's listen to the first clip there, Aaron.
All aboard the toxic gossip train. You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station.
I love it. Manipulation station is a great line. I mean, it's bonkers that this goes on for 10 minutes. It's bonkers that she even thought to do it, and that she did it, and she had to have done a couple takes to nail a 10-minute song, and then watched it and then thought, "Yep, I'm putting this out there. And Colleen's back, baby. Miranda is coming back swinging." And how was the apology received? Does anyone know? Is she in the clear? Is everyone cool with her now? Is she back?
No, there are at least like 15 response videos. I mean, she is a huge star apparently, and I think that's where she got into problem. Like her whole life is content, and so she just think like, how can I use this for content? This apology is gonna do gangbusters. And there's like a million people, including some of her accusers, who made like videos responding to how terrible this is, and entertainment places saying how terrible this is. They did not make songs though.
But she also doesn't say she's sorry. There's no. I love an apology when they don't say they're
she's
sorry.
not
It's like,
sorry.
let me just explain why I sent my underwear to a 14-year-old boy who I had doing social media work for me. It's delightful. Like, if you had to make an apology, Greg, what instrument would you use if you had to do a song? And this will happen on the JRVP podcast, that we will have to make an apology for something. And I think it should be in the song. I don't know what else we would do.
Sure.
Greg,
If I needed an instrument, I'd ask Dean, my brother, who's a great guitarist, to come in. I think this is the time to introduce him to the JRVP world. And he would play guitar, I would sing. But if it was just me, I think I'd beatbox.
That's great. Would you beatbox it? Would you be like, I'm so fucking sorry, guys. Like, I didn't mean it. And then, or would I beatbox while you rap the apology?
That would be fun. I would like you to do the beatboxing if that was possible. And I would like think about it ahead of time. But I would do what Notorious B.I.G. I learned did for all of his songs, which is just get super stoned and then just think of the entire song in my head and then go from there. Don't write anything down.
That's perfect. I love what you're thinking, where your head's at. Because listen, I've famously never apologized for anything. You know, I mean, I get in trouble all the time. I'm just like, I'm not going to apologize. I love if I hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry if I made you mad, then fuck you. But if I had to, if it was like, hey, listen, if Billy, you know, got down on his knees and asked me as a favor, and you know, Aaron, whenever Billy asks for anything, he gets down on his knees. He fucking loves it.
Yep.
He
Right.
loves to beg.
Yep.
Ain't too proud to beg.
No.
Is what it says on his chain that he wears. And if he was like, please go in and do an apology, I'm going to do it musically. I'm going a cappella. I'm going Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego style. And I'm going to commit to making it sound like I would walk 500 miles. And I'm going to keep trying to get what I'm trying to say into that cadence over and over again. Like, I was wrong to groom those kids, and I wish I had not done that. But if I had a time machine, I would groom people who were closer to my age. Da da da. Da da da. Da 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 da. And I would just go on for 10 minutes. So at the end, you're like covered in sweat. It's like you forgot when you started or why you're doing this. That's an apology. That's an apology I can get behind. Is Proclaimers Carmen Sandiego mashup. And then maybe every once in a while I'll be like, I am so sorry. You know what I mean? Like do the bass in there. That would be good.
Oh, I think the call and response is huge. I think making sure it's 10 minutes is big. It's like only the longer a song is, that means the better it is.
If it's not 10 minutes, you're not sorry. It needs to be 10 minutes. That's how long it takes to say those words. I love it. I will read every article about her. She just canceled her tour today, which is so fucking funny. Who the fuck was going to that tour? I would think you'd be more likely after hearing the grooming allegations than you would have before. At least if she's grooming, she's doing something more than whatever the fuck. Someone keeps saying, I can't believe she has this video still up of she did a Gangnam Style, open condom star. Remember that? Whatever the fuck that was?
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, she did a parody of that. And someone's like, I can't believe this is still up. And I thought it was just embarrassing because the way that she's dancing and the fact she's doing a parody of it at all. But I guess she makes up nonsense lyrics that she thinks sound Korean and thinks that's funny. You got to do that. If she had done that for 10 minutes, it would have been better received than her ukulele video. But again, I'm here for it, and I love it.
I mean, she's a massive star. As you said with the Seinfeld episode, I had no idea, but like the views on all this stuff, it does age us, because that's where I stopped like consuming media. I never got into knowing the YouTube stars. But I do want to hear, we do have a second clip, so we might as well listen to it. Let's hear
The
it.
only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats. I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser who didn't understand I shouldn't respond to fans. And I'm not a predator, even though a lot of you think so, because 5 years ago I made a fart joke.
I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser. Like the two, like, oh, she's being self-deprecating. Hey, I'm not a rapist. I'm just a dork. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, but I'm here for you trying it. Colleen, don't make us wait too long for the next album. I'm here for it. And that was Email Corner Shine On, you crazy groomer.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
Ad copy.
¿Estás desfrendo de mi podcast? Thanks to Babbel. I know what that means. Do you,
Babbel.
Anthony?
It's Babbel.
Do you?
Listen, I got on the Babbel train. Babbel's our new sponsor.
Babbel.
They teach you languages. Tower of Babbel. That's what I understand what Greg would say, Babbel, but it's Babbel. And I got on. They're like, here's a free trial. Here's a month trial, Anthony. What do you want to do? I studied German. I was minoring in German for a few years in college and then dropped it. So I was pretty good for a little while, but I've never known any other language. And I was like, you know what? It's embarrassing to me that I don't speak any Spanish. I don't need to be fluent, but I would like to be able to communicate a little better with some of the residents of Los Angeles. And when I tour around the world, and I love the culture. I want to know. I want to know a little bit more, how to say things. And so I started. I'm on level 4 right now on Babbel with Spanish. I signed up. I was like, here's what I want to do. You take the little quiz. You got a bunch of different languages, and it's very easy. It's like I'm learning the difference between like tu and usted. Formal versus like how you talk to a friend. Little things here and there, and like at the end of each section, you take a little quiz. You can speak to your computer, and they tell you if you're right or wrong. You can listen. You can do flashcards, however you want to learn. And then after you take the quiz, you can go back, answer the ones that you got wrong, get them right, and you can take the whole quiz again. You can always be refreshing, which is what I really like about it, is that you get to like level 3, you might want to go back to level 1 and refresh some things, and it makes it very easy and quick to do it. You're not reading through a book. It's not boring. It takes a few minutes for each section, and I'm into it. It's gotten me hooked enough that I'm up to level 4, and I'm going to keep going.
Dang. No, I knew it was Babbel. I have some sort of a mental block looking at that. But I noticed how quick my children are to pick up languages. In their case, Japanese. But using Babbel, and I've tried it.
Babbel.
Wait, did I just mess it up again? Shut up. No, you're messing me up.
No, I swear.
I don't know why my brain just doesn't work. You can't go back to being a kid. But you know what it did? I did it. And it's like being a kid again. It's bringing back all the Spanish I took in school. So if you're someone who took a foreign language in school, but you feel like you lost it all, it brought it back a lot more than I expected quickly. This summer, you can start speaking a new language with Babbel.
Babbel. You can't go back to being a kid.
Now, this is gonna be a thing. They're gonna be like, we're not paying the thing.
Babbel. If you're not using Babbel, you're basically illiterate. We're better than you.
Right. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a private tutor, fooling yourself with those language apps that are little more than games, their quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. And it's designed like for real conversations, like for real people, by real people. It's not to like learn every amount of grammar. It's language that you can absolutely use. With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is a real language learning for real conversations. Make no mistake, not just a game to occupy your time and make you feel like you're learning a language. Here is a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription.
Babbel.
Only for Babbel subscription. What's wrong with me? Get 55% off your Babbel subscription. I mean, they're getting more time here, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/JRVP. Get 55% off. Again, babbel.com/JRVP. One more time, HELIXSLEEP.com/JRVP. Rules and restrictions do apply. Helix is back. It's Helix Sleep. On this trip, I've been missing my Helix mattress. You know, I like the mattresses here in Japan, but they're not my Helix that I have at home. I took the Helix sleep quiz a few years ago, found the perfect mattress for me in just under a few minutes. There's no better way to test out new mattresses than you sleep it on your own. And that's why I like Helix. They have a 100-night trial, 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your Helix mattress. It's very easy to return and try a different one if you don't like it in that 100-night trial. Every sleeper is unique, so you can get the bed that works for you, Anthony.
I love my bed. I love my bed. And again, my thing is I want to be cool when I sleep. I get hot. I sleep hot. My body radiates heat. Aaron, back me up.
Oh, your body radiates heat.
Sleeping next to me is like spooning with the sun.
Yeah,
Am I right?
100%.
You're laying there waiting for it to be over, just thinking that the fire alarm's going to go off because it's so hot.
Yeah, I gotta like jump in the fridge.
That's what it's like to be in my bed. So I want the cool mattress and the midnight Lux.
That's what we both got.
It's cold. It's fucking ice cold. Aaron, it's night and day, isn't it?
Like that Tom Cruise movie.
You're like, is Anthony still in the bed? It's so cool. I can't believe it. Get one.
Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress by GQ and Wired magazine. It was a big upgrade from my old mattress. I had a back issue before, and that's been helped by upgrading your mattress. That can often happen if you're struggling. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. That's helixsleep.com/JRVP. Tushy is back. I'm over here in Japan, where there's bidets everywhere. It's not the case in America. That's why you got to get hooked up with Tushy. Tushy bidet cleans your bum 2 times better than wiping and prevents poop particles from spreading to your hands and everything you touch. It's just more sanitary. You want to be cleaner when you leave the toilet. I think that's something everyone should aspire to. You don't need an electrician or a plumber. You're not going to have someone come in, and it's going to be super expensive to set up this whole thing. It installs in less than 8 minutes. It also cuts down on your toilet paper usage by 80%. You don't need 17 wipes like I often use if you don't have the Tushy. Just a couple, maybe. The Tushy bidet pays for itself in just a few months because you're paying less for that toilet paper. Comes with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty with over 10,000 5-star reviews. You can see why people love their Tushy. You got to make your restroom like a place people want to go. With the Tushy bidet attachment, ottoman, toilet brush. They also have the Tushy stand and tissues. Go to hellotushy.com/JRVP. Use the promo code JRVP to get 10% off plus free shipping on your first bidet order. That's hellotushy.com/JRVP for 10% off.
And that was.
Ad copy.
Now, let's get to headlines.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
Wait, it's the Tower of
Babel.
Tower of what is it?
Tower of Babel. There was a movie with Brad Pitt called Babel. It's Babel. You know the story of the
Start
Tower
in
of Babel?
Maryland.
Story of Tower of Babel is everyone on the planet. Aaron, do you know the story?
Yeah.
Everyone on the planet spoke the same language, and they tried to build a tower up to heaven to get up to God to be like, "What's up, motherfucker? Why are we so hungry?" And they get high enough, and then God's like, "I hate people so much. I hate people so much. I can't wait to send my son down there to die. I hate all these people, and Mel Gibson's not going to be born for millions of years." And he knocks over the tower, and everyone falls, and then they all speak different languages. Every story in the Bible makes that much sense.
Yeah.
They all do.
It kind of reminds me of remember we had a former fraternity brother who joined a cult in the desert.
Yep.
Weren't they kind of building the Tower of Babel? Legit.
They weren't trying to go up to heaven. Imagine you die and you go to heaven, and you get to heaven, and St. Peter's sitting there and he's smiling at you, and you walk up and he goes, Hola. How fucked are you? Like, you better learn your Babel. You better learn. When people are like, well, I'm religious because what if I don't want to die, and then I get up there and God does exist, I'm going to feel stupid, I'm going to go to hell. So I do it just in case he's real. That I would think if you really were religious and you really cared, you would learn every language. You would learn every language in the world, become fluent, so when you got to heaven, you could talk to God in his native language. God help you. God help you if he's is doing sign language. What if you get up there and he's got 7 fingers doing sign language? You don't know jack shit. Maybe everyone's in hell because they just can't speak to him. Maybe he's like the loneliest whale, Aaron.
100%.
That's what God's like.
Yeah.
You know, what if God was one of us?
Just a stranger on the bus.
It's deep.
Yeah.
You guys want to do the rest of the podcast or you just want to zone out? I could do either.
Let's start our headlines in Maryland, where a man is
I'm
wanted
sorry
by
to interrupt,
police.
Greg. These stories are wall-to-wall bangers.
Yeah.
The headlines made me laugh so hard. I'm very excited, especially for this first one.
Yeah, I love this first guy. It's a guy who was wanted by police for stealing a forklift from a Lowe's, that's objectively funny, maybe even cool.
Sure.
And then running over a woman with the forklift and killing her, which is less cool.
Less cool, but the funny part
Yeah. It gets funny.
is he ran her over at Home Depot,
Yeah.
which means that he stole a forklift. And Lowe's, is Lowe's a hardware store?
Yeah.
What is- Lowe's, he
Yes.
stole a forklift
It's
from
the biggest rival to Home Depot.
He stole a forklift from a Lowe's and then drove it all the way to Home Depot, which I would assume is far away.
Yeah, they're not next to each
They're
other.
rivals, yeah. They're not going to be next to each other. It's not a Burger King, McDonald's situation. He had to drive a long way to go kill this woman. I'm operating on the assumption, just from reading it, that he wanted to kill this woman, wanted to kill her with a forklift, but did not want her to see it coming. Therefore, ran her over. Because if you're at Home Depot and you think someone might hit you with a forklift, you got your head in a swivel. You're never expecting a forklift from Lowe's. That's the last thing you would expect.
Yeah.
And was it a revenge thing? Was he going to kill her, or was it just he was just randomly driving around and happened to run over a woman?
Neither. I mean, he intended to kill her. I don't think they didn't know each other before, but he drove out of the Lowe's. He went straight through the rear gates of the store, like breaking glass. I mean, that's funny. Drove to the Home Depot down the street. It was like a mile away or something.
And how fast does a forklift go? They must have just like heard the crash, walked outside, looked at all the glass, and then just saw the guy slowly going towards this woman at a Home Depot.
So he hit a parked car in the Home Depot parking lot where this woman was sleeping. There's a lot of strange parts of this story. She's 73 years old. She woke up. Forklift starts running your car over. You're going to wake up. Got out of the car and began running away. And he chased her in the forklift and then ran over her and then stole her car.
We hit the car, saw her get out, thought, I'm not letting you get away. No witness. I'm not leaving any witnesses in my forklift. And then went after her.
Ran her down. That's the scariest way I think I've ever heard to die on this show.
And then got off the forklift, was like, all right, my job here is done. And then got in her car and drove off.
Yes.
You know what the most disgusting part of this story is? What do you think her car smelled like? Imagine a 73-year-old woman sleeping in a car, getting out of it, getting run over. I bet it doesn't smell good.
Not in a Home Depot parking lot.
It's going to be hot. It's going to smell bad. I'd rather stay on the forklift.
I mean, I was wondering, was she just taking a nap? I don't know what she was doing there, what happened. But that's a tough situation. You want the best for, you don't want anyone to die who's close to you. But if they are going to die, I think the last way I would want them to die is to be woken up by a forklift ramming their car, and then to jump out of the car and then get run down by that forklift. That sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a Jackie Chan movie, to be honest. I feel like Jackie Chan has fought a forklift before. Aaron, am I right about that?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably did it. This woman was not Jackie Chan. That's a fact.
Do you think he was trying to, like, was he going to try to sell? The only thing I thought was, like, was he going to try to sell the forklift at Home Depot?
I got to think he was gunning for this woman the whole time. He was thinking about her the entire way. You know, did you see his statement that he released?
No.
Oh my God. Hold on. I'm going to read it.
I thought this was going to
You
be.
click on the article. He said, I am sorry for the forklift death and I would not do it again. Just give me the keys to a different forklift and I will prove you that I'm a good person. Da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da. You just going to be hanging on the second da-da-da? I'm going to speak for the fans right now. They hate this. They hate it.
The song?
Mm-hmm.
I think they love it.
Okay.
I think this is the new segment on the JRVP song on Spotify that Walker will be singing to me in a few years' times. Like you singing this
in a
song.
room full of naked Japanese men. Have you and Walker ever sat down and watched Eastern Promises? Do you get the reference, Greg? I know Aaron does.
I actually do.
Okay.
I watched it. Yeah.
It's a fun one. Play the song, Aaron.
Roll it.
Slapstick. Good one.
All right. A UK nurse has been fired from her job with the NHS after a patient she was having an affair with died with his pants down in the back seat of his car while parked in the hospital parking lot. The nurse failed to call for emergency services even when she was told to do so, apparently worried that she was going to get in trouble for being in the car with him with his pants down.
So there's a patient. She's hooking up with the patient. They go into the car. They're getting it on. His pants are down. She's like, oh, he's having a heart attack or whatever. She runs out and they say, call the cops. And she says, no. Like, I assume she just walked away and he died. But how did like someone who told her to call the ambulance?
A colleague. So at some point she doesn't call emergency. At this point, it sounded like it already happened a little bit ago. It might have been too late. But she called, bad move, another nurse and was like, hey, this happened. What should I do? They're like, and her colleague, and it doesn't say if it's a man or woman, was like, call 911 or 999 in the UK. And even at that point, she didn't do it. And I think the person she called did it, to try to save his life.
That's a terrible nurse because nurses, as a rule, and listen, this is a generalization. Tell me if I'm being like off at all, but I do not think so. Every nurse I've ever met has this like innate need to help people who are in pain or in distress or something. That you're trained as a nurse. You can do things. You can't let your skills go to waste. You have to help people because you know how to help people, right? I dated a nurse once, and the breakup was so terrible. But then like afterwards, I got sick, and I texted her, and I was like, hey, I'm really sick right now. Can you help me? And she came over right away with all kinds of vitamins and medicine. Was like, I hate you so much, but I had to come. And I was like, yeah, you're a nurse. You're a good person. So for a nurse to be like, this guy's going to die, I'm okay with it, is a bad nurse. But I'm on her side here. I'm on her side here. Okay? If we are hooking up, and I'm saying with anyone, all right, if I'm hooking up with someone and they have a medical emergency while we're hooking up, they're going to die. I'm dropping everything and walking away. Aaron, if you and me are making out, Aaron, I love you like a brother.
Yeah.
If you and me are going at it and you have a medical emergency,
Yep.
you're going to die.
I'm on my own.
It's over.
It's understood.
Even if I have my phone, I'm just going to walk. I'm going to put my hands in my pockets and I'm going to start whistling. And that's the last thing you're going to hear is me whistling as I walk away from your corpse. That's
just how it is.
How I get down. And there are people who maybe they're making out with Aaron. Something happens. Aaron gets sick and they help him. That's not me. That's not how I was raised to treat Aaron.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to this nurse now?
Well, she was fired. I mean,
That's it? That's all? That's all?
I mean, she's never going to be a nurse again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she's being charged with anything. I don't think she is. I think they're just like not letting her be a nurse.
Was she having the affair,
again.
or was the guy having the affair? The guy who died.
The guy was having an affair. I
Yeah,
think
that's
she
wasn't trying to protect
was
her
a young
husband.
woman, young cute woman who dumb how she handled this. Don't call the other nurse who's your friend to ask what you should do.
That was her mistake. That was her
That's
mistake.
tape, that's recorded.
Because if I'm making out with Aaron, and Aaron has a medical emergency, and then I call Greg and say, "Hey, Greg, I was making out with Aaron. Aaron had a medical emergency." Greg says, "We'll call an ambulance," and then I don't do it. Then I'm in the wrong. Yeah. But if I'm making out with Aaron, and Aaron has a medical emergency, and I just walk away without calling anybody, that's just me doing my thing.
Yep.
Aaron, you knew what you were getting into
100%.
when we started making out.
Yep.
I do worry though, and I'm not a nurse or a doctor, but I would say just as Aaron's friend, like, stop making out. These heart attacks that you keep having when you are making out, it's not worth the risk.
I'm excitable.
Sometimes the only way through is to keep going. You know what I mean? Sometimes people have died from stopping making out because they think that's what they're supposed to do. You got to turn into the skid when you're making out with Aaron.
Well, this nurse also lied like badly. At first, she said the guy texted her and said he was not feeling well. Can you come out to the parking lot? I'm in the parking lot, and it's like
We all know that move.
It's like, you're young. This woman's 27. You should know everyone can see what you've been texting or what you've been messaging on Facebook. And they easily found that, like, they just had planned to meet up and hook up in the parking lot. And so these were bad lies. These were bad lies.
No, I mean 100%. I mean, Aaron, did you get this text from Burr?
Yeah.
Billy just blew us up. It was, "Hey, I'm not feeling that well. Would you come outside? I'm in the motorcycle." And he wants us to go sit in the carriages on either side. I'm not doing it.
Oh, I was kind of into it, but if you're not going to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. You can go if you want. All right, I love this one too. We got a lot of accidents in this week's JRVP.
Right. The forklift guy kind of showed the upside, at least from his perspective, of trying to run someone over. But it doesn't always turn out that well. A Texas woman is dead after repeatedly attempting to run over a man she was arguing with, ramming his car several times before she unfortunately lost control, flew into a ditch, and was partially ejected from the vehicle. The man she was trying to hit was not injured.
This is the best. This guy, I don't know who the guy is. This guy is our JRVP listener of the week.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you right now. Now the JRVP listener of the week. Now the JRVP listener of the week. The JRVP listener of the week.
This is the best. I can't even imagine how happy I would be if I was getting an argument with someone and they started to try to, because I assumed, when I saw the headline, I assumed that she was in a car and he was standing there and she was yelling out the car at him, and while he was yelling at her, and then she tried to hit him with the car and like missed and just went over the curb. But they were both in cars. She rams his car a couple times and then flies off and goes into a ditch. And is she dead?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, she's dead.
Amazing. If you're someone's yelling at you, you're like, God, this bitch is crazy. And then she hits you a couple times and you're like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Maybe she's going to kill me. And then you watch her kill herself by mistake. It makes it worth it. I would think you don't get your car fixed. You're proud of the dents. You want people to ask about the dents so you can tell the story. I hope he had one of those dash cam things, because it's vaudeville to have someone be like, hitting you, boom, flying off, dying. It's great. It is the way the villain sidekick dies at the end of a PG-13 movie. Am I right, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I think was this guy charged with anything?
No, I don't think he did anything.
Yeah.
His car doesn't even look that banged up. She was bad at this. She really got in trouble. I think the word that I really took from the recap was partially ejected from the vehicle. You don't want to be partially ejected from the vehicle. You don't want to be ejected from the vehicle at all.
Sometimes
But
you do.
between partially and totally ejected, I feel like you would rather be ejected from the vehicle than partially ejected.
Yeah, like one arm ejected, you're in trouble. You don't want to be partial. Partially means like, I don't know. But partially, if you're watching it, if you're watching someone who tried to kill you get ejected from a vehicle, then partially ejected is the top thing you can see. You know what I mean? Oh, unless it's like a fucking Wile E. Coyote, like they get launched so high up in the air and then fall down and you get like a puff of smoke. That would be cool too.
Right, because I didn't know if partially meant like part of her body's, parts were ejected, or she got into like the frame of the door and stuck there.
I would think I would think halfway through. I would think she's hanging out, but I would think it's a Road Warrior situation. Google that, Aaron. Is it a Road Warrior situation?
I mean, it sounds like one.
Is it a Mad Max Fury Road situation?
What, do they get stuck in the windshield or something?
All the time. It's like it's the pebble in the shoe in Mad Max world. They hate that shit. I don't know why you even have the windshield. Why not just go out willy-nilly in the Mad Max world? That's what happens when you don't have gasoline. Go crazy. You get a little nuts. Can't wait for Furiosa.
Last headline.
Aaron, let's rank the Mad Max movies from best to least best.
Okay.
What's number one?
I'm going to say the original Road Warrior.
Yes, but Road Warrior is Mad Max 2. You understand, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
Mad
the
Max.
original Road Warrior, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Then Fury Road.
Yes, I'm going to agree with you. Although if you argued to flip them, I wouldn't have a problem with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But Road
It's
Warrior,
pretty
I've seen,
close.
yes.
It's like 1A, 1B.
Then number 3.
Probably the original,
Yeah,
and then Thunderdome.
yeah. I'm with you. And again, we could swap swap the bottom two
Yeah.
or the top two, but I think we're in the same. But are you going to see Furiosa?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right, what's our last headline? Let's do. You know what?
You're
Let's do it.
just
Let's do a serious one. Let's do one that's like, there's so much going on in the world today. There's so many people suffering. There are wrongs in the world. You're looking around for justice. You're not finding it. Things don't make sense. The world's getting hotter. Babies are burning. Let's tackle something. Let's think, what would Bill Burr do right now? And let's do that. Greg. Last headline.
So every job, has its pluses and minuses. Like JRVP, I get paid to see my friend every week, but I have to serve as a doormat for that friend to step on with jokes. And it's a lot like a 31-year-old Australian woman named Maxine who had her dream job, milking 30 pigs a day for their semen. The pluses are obvious, but now she has to deal with crippling injuries to both wrists that left her unable to work, and she wants compensation for it.
Let's look at the headline. I did not read the story. I did not know it was a woman. I thought it was probably a dude. The headline is, I milked 30 pigs a day for their semen, but it's left me with crippling injuries to both my wrists. Now I can't work and I want compensation. Let me tell you here. Okay, Greg, I am your boss. You are milking pigs and you're coming to me to complain about your injuries.
Yeah, boss. I love what I do, animal welfare. I love the helping out these pigs, but my wrist is just like, my right wrist is just so injured from doing this. I don't think I can do it anymore. It's a lot of pain.
Your right wrist? What about your left wrist?
Well, I guess I'll try that next, but I think it'll be the same either way. Like if you do your right wrist or left wrist, either way, it's like a lot of pain this many times a day. It's 25, 30 pigs a day.
It's 30 pigs a day. You knew that when you signed up. And we told you, use your right wrist until it starts to hurt. Then you use your left wrist until that hurts, until you have crippling injuries in both your hands. And then, Aaron, what do?
Then you got to use your mouth.
You use your mouth. We didn't hire you for your hands. We got 30 pigs, and they need milking every day. Yeah, your hand's going to hurt. That's the job. You use your mouth. You know how many people injure their mouths from milking 30 pigs a day? Aaron, how many?
None.
0.
Yeah.
Fucking goose egg. You were stupid to use your hands in the first place. You got to milk 30 pigs. You use your mouth.
All right, boss.
What's going on in Australia that they don't know that?
Why do you keep calling it milking, boss? It's semen that we're trying to extract from these pigs.
You're milking out the semen, mate. I'm calling it milk because milk goes in your mouth. Pig semen goes in your mouth. You spit it in the thing, and then we use it for whatever the fuck we use it for. But if you're using your hand, it takes so much longer. It takes so much longer. The pigs don't like it. It doesn't make sense. Why are you using your hands?
It's also, don't they have a corkscrew situation going on down there?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
That's a great. You know that, Greg? Their penis is a corkscrew.
The pigs, not Australians.
No, just the pigs. Pigs worldwide have the corkscrew penis, or is it an Australian exclusive, Aaron?
I think theirs just screws the other way, is what I've heard.
And what do they call penises in Australia?
Dorkies.
I guess we've got our title.
Woo. And now it's time for recommendation station. Greg, what do you got? What do you got?
Oh man, I can't top that. I'm going to recommend Free Food for Millionaires. It's a book by Min Jin Lee. She wrote Pachinko, which was a huge hit. This was her first book, actually. My friend Mina Kimes recommended it as one of her all-time favorites. It's my idea of a perfect vacation read. This is what I like. A big, meaty, like 600-page book. It's very much trying to be like Middlemarch or Jane Eyre, but set in 90s New York with Korean immigrants, like a lot of sex, a lot of Wall Street, a lot of divorces, affairs, but very smart, like going from all these different perspectives of the different characters. I enjoy that. I know it's not Anthony's cup of tea, but if you're someone who likes those old, like Victorian type of things, Henry James, all that stuff, but you're like, oh, wouldn't that be nice if it was a modern type of version of that? I would go Free Food for Millionaires by Min Jin Lee. I liked it better than Pachinko, which I also enjoyed, but I liked it better. It's a great book.
Sounds good. I'm going to recommend a new book that came out, a nonfiction book that I loved. It's called The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this story. Like, this happened 20 plus years ago. I think they caught him in 2001. There was this guy who, he was like a young man, was kind of unemployed, kind of a little bit of a loser, lived with his mom, and was obsessed with art. Like, he would see art and be like overcome. And he started to go into museums with his girlfriend. It was just him and his girlfriend. And they would walk into museums and find things that they could take from a small museum. And they stole like a thing a week. Like at the end, they had like billions of dollars worth of stuff in their attic. They didn't try to sell it. They would just like to look at it. And then it eventually all goes wrong. And then, like, I'm not going to spoil what happens in the story. You could obviously Google it. But it's a fascinating story. And I had heard kind of what happens, like, that when the trial was going on. I remember hearing when they got caught and they find out what happens with his mom, and they try to cover it up and it goes bad. But then what happens after that, like the last chapter even, is even crazier. That it was a great book to read, really fun, really interesting, just to hear about a person who got away with stealing from museums all over Europe for like 5 or 6 years. It's crazy and fascinating and very human. I loved it. Again, that's The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. A quick read, a good beach read. People will enjoy it. Aaron, you got anything you want to recommend?
Yeah. Not so similar to The Art Thief. I watched the documentary Muscles and Mayhem about the American gladiators.
I know I saw there was a 30 for 30.
There's a 30 for 30.
And then there's a Netflix, and you're talking about the Netflix.
Yeah, the Netflix one is, yeah.
Okay, is it better? Did you watch 30 for 30? Because I watched that one.
I have not.
Okay.
But I think more of the gladiators were involved in the Netflix one.
I would believe it. I would believe it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, and they
I still
probably-
have you seen the Schwarzenegger one?
Yes. Yeah, it's great.
It is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
Yeah. It's great.
Maybe I'll fucking go to Harlan Williams' house, put in my Netflix account, and sit there with him and watch Arnold.
Yeah.
I heard there's a Stallone documentary coming out,
I'll bet.
like on Netflix.
There's
Did you finish that book, Aaron? The Action Heroes.
Yeah.
It's great. Team Stallone, Team Schwarzenegger.
I'm always going to be Team Arnold.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. And that was
Choo choo.
Recommendation Station. We'll see you back in the studio with Greg next week. Aus America. I love you guys so much. So much.
Love you too.
Walker, take me home, baby.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado, that's a spicy meatball.